much of a surprise because I was just gushing about it, but Guardians of the Galaxy.
Nice. Okay.
Look up for Guardians. Yeah, like I mentioned a little bit ago, this game has a fantastic story, and it kind of hits that like that grandiose Marvel feeling,
Yeah.
and then the gameplay is pretty good as well. So yeah, Guardians of the Galaxy sitting tight at number 10. I was debating putting it on here, but I think I enjoyed it a little bit more than games like Shovel Knight Pocket Dungeon and a few others.
Let me type that in before I forget. There we go. All right, my number 10, and again, I know I had mentioned before that I just have not played that many new games this year, but I really did like this game. I'm putting Outriders on the list, number 10.
Outriders, wow.
Yeah.
Man, coming out of the woodwork.
Yeah, I know that game was not received too well, and it had a lot of issues. I know that demo, like, people loved the crap out of that demo. I spelled Guardians wrong. There we go. And yeah, I know you fell off like pretty hard after that.
I did.
I'm gonna scoot this over real quick, just so I have a little bit extra room. But yeah, I thought you know it's a again, it also kind of feels like a Xbox 360 game back in the day. It's like it's a third person shooter with RPG mechanics.
Feels like a Red Faction.
Kind
like
of, yeah. You're doing like side quests. The story is kind of like nonsensical.
Yeah.
It makes no sense. But I do like the fact that, and I think like the developers mentioned like in their top 10 reasons why you should get this game is the like the abilities that you get are so quick. Like there's not a lot of room for them to have to what's that term called?
The cooldown.
The cooldown, yeah. The cooldown is so quick on those on the abilities that it's a lot of fun to being able to use those super quick all the time. So
Nice.
that's why I like that a lot. I'm gonna scoot this down real quick so I can see your stuff. Put that over. Sorry.
You're good. It's hard to get all that on the screen.
Yeah. I think that'll work. Okay. What is your number 9?
This was a game that is a sequel to a game that came out many, many years ago, and a lot of people didn't think it was going to see the light of day.
Okay.
And I played through about 2/3 of the first one in preparation of the second one, and then just wanted to jump into the second when it came out. That game is Psychonauts 2.
Wow. Okay.
Which is a really great platformer that when it came out, it was in my top 5. And then as more games came out and as I played more games, it just kind of fell deeper and deeper down the list. I don't think it's as strong as the other games on my list here, but I think it is a great platformer, kind of reminiscent of, like an Xbox or an Xbox 360 game.
Yeah.
And just kind of captures that nostalgic feeling while also feeling fresh and new. And it has some of the coolest environments that I've ever seen in a game.
Yeah.
Like some of the most creative environments and some of my favorite levels too.
Yeah. It's a good game.
Yeah. It's a good game.
It's a good game.
All right, what is your number 9?
Number 9, it is, and the only reason why it's number 9, it would probably be a little bit higher, but I'm gonna do Forza Horizons 5 on here.
Oh, nice.
Number 9.
Nice.
Again, I think it'd be higher if I had played a little bit more, and I do plan on playing some more, but once that Halo multiplayer dropped, I was fresh off of.
It came out too close, man.
It did.
Was too close.
It did. I'm glad it came out when it did, but yeah, it did come out really close because I was pretty into Forza for a second, but
yeah,
it is what it is.
Yeah, Forza is probably one of the most beautiful games on the Series X. I
Yeah,
mean, it just
looks
looks
great.
absolutely incredible, runs incredibly well. And I guess I played it a little bit more than you because it is my number 8,
Nice.
actually.
Just roll on into it.
Yeah. Forza Horizon 5. I've really only played Forza Horizon 4, and
Okay.
that was when the Series X came out. It was a pretty good graphical showcase for that game, or for the Series X. But I really, really enjoyed 4, and I think 5's even better. I'm not a big car guy at all. I don't really love cars too much, but I love going fast. And Forza Horizon 5 loves letting you do that. So
Yeah, it's so I guess so. I'm like you. Like I'm not really a big car enthusiast and enjoy cars that much, and have not really been a car person like game wise ever really. I played a lot of like Burnout Paradise and like Burnout I think 2 Revenge, but that was mainly because they had like the car crashing mini
yeah,
game
arguably the
that
best
was
part.
fun. Um, so yeah, so you playing Forza Horizon 4, what was this better for you from 4 that you've played so far, or what made the difference?
I think I like the setting better.
Okay.
I think it's more vibrant, and because I think the other one took place in the UK,
Okay.
so it kind of has that very like Greenland, very almost gray vibe to it. While
Mm-hmm.
well, five takes place in Mexico, and it's very very vibrant, very bright,
Yeah.
and I think I like that a lot better. And then of course the mechanics of the game just feel a lot smoother in 5 than 4,
Okay.
and yeah, 5 just feels cool to play. It feels really good.
Yeah. It really like it tries to get you to follow like the roads and stuff, but I'm like, nah, I'm going through the
Never.
hills.
I will never take the roads.
Yeah. Yeah, Forza 5 is great. All right, let me get my list pulled back up here. So at number 7, I'm gonna go, or excuse me, number 8, Little Nightmares 2.
Nice.
I'm gonna.
Yeah, I remember you loved this game when we played it, and I did too. I think you were more attached to it.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that first one, and that DLC. I played through it on the Switch, initially, and then we ended up getting it on the Xbox because we were hungry for another Series
Oh
X
yeah.
game. But yeah, I really liked it. I mean, mechanically, it didn't do too much different than the first one. There was like the TV warping kind of thing towards like the kind of middle of the game. And it was
Had a
also
little bit of combat too.
I did have a little bit of combat versus the first one. So yeah, I thought they just improved on everything that the first one did, and it was still super creepy. I am sad that team is not going to be doing another one.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
kind of a
it's kind of a
bummer,
bummer.
but I guess that's not going to stop.
Doesn't yeah.
Who's the is it who's the
It's
publisher?
Bandai.
Bandai. Yes, I'm probably not going to stop Bandai for making another one if the other one sold well enough to
I think 2 sold
warranty.
over 1 million.
Okay, so I mean,
That's pretty good.
but yeah, I really like those. Just going through and finding all the creepy boss encounters and kind of them kind of stalking you through the levels. Yeah, it's a really really cool franchise, and I thought 2 was excellent.
Yeah, it definitely improved on the first game. I thought it was much better, and I really liked the first one too.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, number 7, lucky number 7.
Number 7.
My number 7 is a PS5 exclusive game. It's one of the only PS5 exclusives that came out this year that I've played, and that is Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart.
Cool.
I mean, there's not too much to say about this game. It's a Ratchet and Clank game. It takes advantage of the PS5 hardware. It looks beautiful, runs really well. I thought some of the like teleportation, the rift stuff was a little bit gimmicky
Yeah.
because it felt very on wheels or on rails.
Yeah.
But it did do some like cool kind of world jumping stuff similar to what Psychonauts 2 did, where you would walk through just a gateway and you would pass it into another level essentially. And I feel like Ratchet and Clank did that kind of on another level, which is
Okay.
pretty cool. Yeah, fun game.
Now, was that, you might have said this before, was that your first Ratchet and Clank game?
I played the 2016 game, but I never finished it.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, so I don't have much experience with the franchise.
Okay.
But this one's pretty good.
Sweet. My number 7 is, and I still have not finished it, but It Takes Two.
Nice.
I have to
Fantastic
like abbreviate these or something. It takes. One keeps wanting to push the other ones aside. There we go. Yeah, It Takes Two. It's a brilliant co-op game, and it's great for kind of. I mean, you play with your fiance, which she's not really a gamer, or plays video games like that.
Yeah.
So I think it does a great job of kind of onboarding new players and not like
Absolutely.
overburdening them with dying all the time, because like it's so forgiving for the most part in that game. Now again, I haven't finished it yet, so I don't know the extent to the latter levels, but yeah, I mean everything we were Brittany and I were able to do, my wife, you know, we kind of ran through that game, and you know, she had a little bit of trouble here and there, but for the most part, I mean, we just had a good time going through it.
Yeah, it's one of those games that hits on every genre possible pretty much, and like Alicia had a bit of trouble on the levels where you have to aim more, where you're like almost like aiming a gun.
Yeah.
But everything else you did really well on, and yeah, it's almost a great tool to learn how to play a video game. And
yeah, it really is. Yeah, and it's just so unique, and just it's beautiful. It looks great. Yeah,
brings people together.
Yeah, and just all best family game of the year. Um, but yeah, just from it, like you said, genre swapping so much, it feels really cool to see what they're gonna do. You look forward to saying, okay, what are we gonna do in this area?
Next?
What's next? What is it? You know,
because nothing overstays its welcome. You're not doing one mechanic for too long.
Yep.
Like it's crazy how much they came up with to put into one game.
Yeah. So I'm excited to finish. We'll finish it soon. Keep saying that, but I gotta finish it.
6 months.
But yeah, number 7 for me. It probably would have ranked higher a little bit maybe if I finished it, but I think it's well enough to stick at number 7 for me.
Yeah.
What is your number 6 before we swap?
Before we swap, my number 6 is Monster Hunter Rise. It was that game, man. It was that game that I just got so into for like a month.
Yeah.
And then after that, didn't play it anymore. I really want to jump back in next year when the expansion comes out. But this game, it nails like the progression system, and then that kind of gameplay loop of going in, taking out these giant monsters, getting some of their materials and whatnot, crafting better weapons, killing better monsters, getting their materials. It just nails that loop.
Yeah.
I mean, just like every other Monster Hunter game does, but
yeah,
like this one with the verticality of it all, like you being able to kind of climb around and jump around and all this stuff, it really adds to the game a lot.
There's a grappling hook in this game, right?
Yeah, it's called a wire bug.
Wire bug, okay.
It's just a little bug that you can use to pull yourself around.
Okay.
But that is a great addition to this game, because
cool.
Previous Monster Hunters felt a little bit sluggish, a little bit hard to get around.
Yeah, I think that's my problem with World is I couldn't. I don't know. I should have given it another shot, but I never did. But
it feels like the game is kind of going against you a little bit.
Yeah.
World, yeah. Yeah, Rise improves on that for sure.
Okay. So I'm going to put my number 6. Technically a new game. I'm gonna do Mario's Bowser's Fury.
Oh, nice.
Let's see, Bowser's. I hate having to abbreviate.
Yeah, Bowser's Fury. Man.
Bowser's Fury. Yeah, I mean, you know, I did not pay for the original It came with my Wii U when I got it, the Mario World. Um, so I didn't feel
Mhm.
necessarily buyer's remorse for double dipping onto the
Yeah.
Switch version. And I mean, honestly, and I'm kind of surprised. I mean, honestly, Nintendo probably could have charged $60 for Bowser's Fury. I do think it's probably that good. Do I think it's worth $60 at what you're getting and the time the amount of time it takes to complete it? Probably not. But Nintendo probably could have if they really wanted to. So throwing
Yeah.
this as an expansion onto Super Mario World, I thought was a great addition. And honestly, it feels like the next step, the next evolution of Mario, because just be able to hold on to all of the power ups and just having them and be able to switch them on the fly feels so
That's
good.
really cool.
And then it kind of sucks going back to the main game not being able to do that. It's kind of a bummer, but yeah, I mean, just being able to uh, ride around on Plessy, going from area to
Mhm.
area. Yeah, it's so much fun just going around in that world and just finding all the cat shines and stuff. So
Yeah.
whatever
God,
whatever
great
they do
expansion.
next, whether it's Odyssey 2 or a Bowser's Fury 2 or something like that, um, or I don't know, just give me like a
Anything.
$30 Bowser's Fury 2 or something.
Yeah.
Uh, something like that. So hopefully, whatever they learn from that, they'll put in whatever the next Mario is. Because I thought that was just such a fantastic addition.
Yeah, I think everyone kind of agreed that that was probably one of the better expansions to all of like the remasters that they've done.
Yeah,
And yeah, it just it holds up really well, and
yeah,
it's just it's fun. It's a fun little expansion.
yeah, and yeah, it's just kind of like came out in the peak of Kellen just loving Mario.
Mhm.
Um, and so getting that was so much fun. And then the only gripe is after a while, like it, Bowser coming up out of the water gets kind of annoying because you're just trying to
Yeah.
platform and do your stuff. But using like the Bowser amiibo and being able to pull him in immediately to get one of those like blocks or whatever to get the cat shine, that was a nice feature that they added to
Mhm.
that for that amiibo. I think I probably haven't used amiibos more than I did from that, and maybe Zelda, um, Breath of the Wild, because like all the
Yeah,
Zelda amiibos would do something. So yeah, Bowser's Fury, pretty great expansion.
for sure.
All
All
right,
right.
we
Yeah.
are, yeah, we're on the top 5 games of the year. Um, I guess I'll start it off. Nick, it's something you already mentioned. It is Psychonauts 2.
Wow.
Yeah,
I did not expect that to be so high on your list.
I really, and it's funny because I mean you've played through the first one, and I
Most of it.
started
Yeah.
to, and it just felt really old because it is a really old game. So I was like, you know what, I'm gonna stop here and just jump into it kind of blind. I'll read a wiki or something if I need to. They did a really great job at the beginning to catch you up.
Mhm.
But yeah, I've really it's a great kind of platformer. All the levels were so unique and different. Um, yeah, just going through that story and figuring out that all these people had like such remorse for what they did.
Yeah.
It was just yeah, just an incredible kind of an incredible story. I guess the only negative thing I could really say is there were so many cutscenes in the game. Like every time you would get
There were a
going,
lot.
every time like you'd see a new character on screen, like they would have like a brief interlude, whether it was 5 to 10 seconds, it just constantly kind of broke.
Especially towards the end.
Yeah, it just constantly like took out the momentum. Yeah, there was just some great levels, like the whole band level, whatever, and you're
Yeah.
getting the band back together. It was incredible. Yeah, just a lot of memorable levels, and yeah, again, if you've got Game Pass and like
Give this game a shot.
yeah, give it a shot. I mean, between the constant kind of breaking up of gameplay, and then I didn't love the way you mapped like the abilities. That got kind of annoying towards the end.
Yeah.
I constantly had to switch back and forth. I wish they just I don't know. I don't know another way they could have done it, but that got kind of annoying. But other than that, I mean, great game.
Pretty phenomenal. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
What is your number 5?
Well, I have a feeling this game's a little bit higher on your list.
Okay.
And maybe not too much, but this was kind of the indie darling of this year in my perspective, and that's Death's Door.
The store. Okay.
This game just kind of took the world by storm when it came out. I just kind of randomly saw someone tweet about it, and it looked really good, so I picked it up kind of on a whim. And it's just a great like top-down action game where you just play as a bird, and
Yeah.
you, like I don't even know how to describe it other than you're working a lot with Death's Door. I mean, I kind of forgot a lot about the story, but
Yeah, you're like a crow, and you go in and you have to collect souls, and like the first one you go to collect gets stolen from you, which causes you to not age anymore.
yeah,
It's a very unique game. So many people said it was like Dark Souls. I just never got that vibe.
no, it's not like Dark Souls. It's like Zelda, if anything. And even then, it's like it's not.
The only thing remotely related to Dark Souls is the fact that you can go back and you can collect your stuff.
Or like people take that and they run with it.
Yeah, it's not
It's
like
Souls-like. Yeah. No.
yeah, it's not difficult. I mean, well, it is difficult, but
yeah, it's tough.
So yeah, if you've listened to other podcasts, or I'm not obviously not bashing on anybody. If your opinion is your own, but if you want to say it's a Souls-like, then that's fine. But if you've heard people say Souls-like,
don't be turned off.
Don't be turned off by it. It is a hard game for sure, but yeah, I don't be turned off. It's an excellent Zelda-esque game.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's my number 5.
Nice. Well, you were correct about Death's Door. It is actually my number 4.
Wow.
Yeah.
I had a feeling.
Yeah. Again, it's a fantastic game. I'm just gonna put DD. It's a fantastic game. And even like the post game stuff was so much fun to go through and
that
get
was
all
really
that.
cool too.
Yeah, it was probably some of the best like post game stuff I've seen in a long time. Going through there, and yeah, I had a blast with that game. If they make a sequel, I really hope they do, because it was great.
I'm one achievement away from 100%. I'm sure you are too, where you have to play through the game using the umbrella.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
I don't know if I want to do that.
Yeah, I don't think I will.
Yeah. All right. Well,
yeah.
I have a sense of what your top 3 is.
Okay.
So my number 4. I mean, this is probably the game we were looking forward to the most this year, or at least in the first half. And that's Resident Evil Village.
Nice.
I mean, that game, man. It's one of those games where it's just short enough where you want to play through it again the second you beat it.
Yeah.
And with all the unlocks that you get in classic Resident Evil style, getting all those unlocks at the end of the game, having all those points you can spend on getting new weapons and getting new abilities type things. Yeah, Village just knocked it out of the park. Like even the pieces of the game, even the parts of the game that were a little bit worse, like Mora's Reservoir and kind of the slower sections, like the haunted house that you go through, like
yeah,
even that stuff only lasts like 30 minutes, and then the rest of it's
super
just
short. Yeah,
killing werewolves, going into castles, great boss fights. I mean, it's a really great game.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is it your number 3?
It is my number 3. RE, I'll say RE8. Yes, it is my number 3. Yeah, it's such a. I mean, just to piggyback what you said. Yeah, just a fantastic game. I still think 7 is a little bit higher on my list. Even though I think there's obviously more like gunplay in 8. I just think 7 was way scarier. Which is what I look forward to most in like a Resident Evil game, but also like just the movement felt really good in this game, more so than 7, and obviously there was just more variety of enemies, so it was just more fun to kind of just I don't know, just roll through that game, speed run it, all that good stuff. So yeah, it's classic.
Classic.
What is your number 3?
My number 3 is a game you have in your list. I think it was a little bit lower, but It Takes Two.
Takes Two. Okay.
I mean, we talked about it earlier, but that's like the perfect co-op game, perfect game to introduce someone to gaming with, and plays flawlessly, and it just hits all the genres, and I think that's really cool.
Yeah.
All right, I know where we're at. I mean,
so if
I know, yeah.
What do you think my number 2 is?
I think your number 2 is Metroid Dread.
You would be absolutely wrong. It's Halo.
Well, that's my number 2.
So
wow,
yeah,
really, Halo under something else that we haven't talked about yet.
Yes, who would absolutely know what that is? Yeah, I mean, the multiplayer I think is the best it's probably ever been. And that's just.
And granted, it needs more maps.
Yeah,
I think it could use more guns, but it plays the best.
Yeah, it feels. Yeah, it feels really good. I mean, I don't know how many maps launched with 5 or Reach or 3. I think it's all been pretty same amount, right? Like 10, 15 maps maybe. We don't have Forge yet, so I mean, there's gonna be a lot more stuff to come with that. That they'll probably add into the queue with like really popular fan-made maps and stuff like that. I think I love the open world that they provided us. I think it's a great sandbox. I'm looking forward to playing it co-op as well. I think the story falls a little bit flat with some of those. The missions feel a little bit samey towards the end, like Corridor.
They do.
Yeah. I think that it's fine in like the past Halo games, but I feel like that same level design is kind of catching up to it a bit for me.
It shouldn't have existed in the same way.
Yeah.
That it did in previous
but again, like all the open world stuff, I absolutely love. Like I just love going through that world and grapple shot and everything. Like it was just so much fun. And all the little audio logs and stuff you picked up were cool to see. Like the little environmental storytelling that they shown. But I think that's why it wasn't Game of the Year for me. It's just the story felt a little flat, and it's hard to say because we know more stuff is going to come. We know they're going to add on to this game as the years go on. So, maybe in 3 or 4 years, this could be like some incredible piece of storytelling that we only got so much. Maybe because of COVID and like their delay they had, or maybe this was the original vision and they just needed more time to complete that original vision. But yeah, I'm excited to see what Halo looks like in the years to come.
Yeah. And the only additional thing I'll say, and this is, I think I've said this before, but having an open world game where the traversal is fun, just the basic traversal, that's when you've nailed the open world.
Yeah.
So like Spider-Man, for instance, that completely nails it with the web swinging. Halo completely nails it with the grappling hook. I mean, that just it amps up everything to 11. It makes traversal more fun. It makes combat encounters more fun. I mean, it just adds so much, not only to the story, not only to the single player, but to the multiplayer as well. I mean, it's crazy how one thing can completely change the fundamentals of a game. And yeah, they nailed it. They nailed it with that.
Yeah, I would be interested to hear like what came first. Was it the open world or was it the grappling hook? Because I don't think the open world exists without the grappling hook. I just don't think that it wouldn't be nearly as fun to have to rely on vehicles to get up the terrain and stuff like that,
which are very unpredictable.
Yeah,
when climbing terrain.
Yeah. So that leads to number 1, Nick. I'm just gonna go and assume Metroid Dread is your game of the year, as long as myself.
You're correct.
Metroid Dread.
Wow, very well, not unexpected, but it's crazy because you hadn't really played a Metroid game before this year.
Mm-hmm.
I'd only played 2 Metroid games, and then I played Fusion and Super Metroid this year before Dread came out. And here it is sitting at the top of our lists because it just nails every aspect of what a Metroid game should be.
Yeah, and I just think, yeah, exactly. And then just over the past 3 years or so, like I've fallen in love with like the Metroidvania games with Hollow Knight and
Mhm.
Ori, and some other stuff prior to that. But yeah, this just feels like a really good addition to that genre. I mean, obviously it created the genre, but like the movement feels good. It feels so fluid. The combat feels great. Um, the story is whatever. It is what it is. I mean, it's nothing crazy, um, but it just feels really good going through that
Yeah.
world. Uh, I will say there was a couple times where I did get lost going through it the first time, um, but I mean, I feel like that happens with any kind of Metroidvania game. There's at
Yeah,
some
yeah,
point where you
it's
kind of
kind
get
of par for the
lost.
course.
Um, but yeah, man, just playing that, especially like just playing that on the OLED. Like I never played it once on. I never played it once docked. I've only played it ever like handheld. Um, so
Oh wow.
yeah, it just felt like that perfect handheld experience.
Mhm.
So yeah, it's a great game, fantastic game of the year.